Introduction to the product goal, which is introduced in the Scrum Guide 2020. Now let's talk about product goals so we can better understand this term. So what exactly is the product goal? Well, let's have a look at the brand new shiny edition of the Scrum Guide 2020 to find out. So the product goal describes a future state of the product, which can serve as a target for the Scrum team to play against. The product goal is in the product backlog. And there's some clarification about the product goal in the context of Scrum. A product is a vehicle to deliver value. It has a clear boundary, known stakeholders, well-defined users or customers. A product could be a service, physical product, or something more abstract. And the product goal is the long-term objective for the Scrum team. So the 2020 Scrum Guide introduces the concept of the product goal to provide a focus for the Scrum team towards a larger, valuable objective. In other words, to make sure that we keep our eyes on the prize. Each sprint should bring the product closer to the overall product goal. The product goal is for the product backlog, the same way as the sprint goal is for the sprint backlog. It describes your product backlog and gives direction to the Scrum team. So according to the Scrum Guide, you should stick to one product goal at a time. So this is important. Product goal provides context to the product backlog. It can be our idea of why we are doing all this work. It can be also used as an elevator pitch to what is the Scrum team working on. So the word goal is intentional as it describes two things. It is something to strive for. It is measurable when you have attained it. The Scrum Guide does not prescribe what the details of the product goal are, thereby allowing the Scrum teams to form the goal in the right way for their context. For instance, some Scrum teams may work to a quarterly product goal that is very focused, and another example, Scrum team may have a product goal that is very aspirational and high level. So context is everything when determining the product goal. One more point here. In the previous version of the Scrum Guide, 2017, the words used was a vision. The product goal kind of replaces the vision and at the same time straightens it by making it commitment. But in the product development cycle, the product vision is still there, separate from the product goal, as you can see from this picture. The product goal is the part of the product backlog, which is the product owners is accountable for. The product owner is therefore accountable for the product goal in the same way they are accountable for the product backlog. Ultimately, the product goal describes at a high level the value of the work that the product owner is accountable for. So the Scrum Guide clearly describes the accountability of the product owner as developing and explicitly communicating the product goal. What is the relationship between product goal and vision? So the product goal is a minimal thing that a Scrum team needs to work on the product backlog and get started. If the product goal is inspired by a vision or narrative, then this is even better, but it's outside of the scope of the Scrum Guide.